the coming together of the collective consciousness of your entire planet, so that through the combination of all that consciousness, individuals that are so aligned can utilize that energy, can utilize that consciousness to take steps to escalate and accelerate themselves to new levels of awareness, such as stepping stones, as you call them in your civilization. Now, many of you have recognized that there are many convergences and gateways that do occur throughout any particular cycle you call a year. But many of you have also pointed out that your framework of time, August 16th, August 17th, the octave month, represents a very strong convergent cycle. And it is this we are discussing at this timing. Recognize that the basic idea behind this particular gate, this particular convergence, will be primarily for the specific blending of all places upon your planet, all energies within each and every one of you, especially those energies that represent the masculine and feminine aspects within each and every one of you. Let us relate a dream communication that we participated within with the physical channel. And you can see the symbology that is referred to as the convergence of your August 16th and 17th dates. In this dream communication, what the physical channel has symbolically remembered is being in a location that at one and the same time represented many different locations around your planet, represented the area you call Hawaii, represented the area you call Japan, represented the area you call India, represented many different areas around your planet. There were many symbologies that made it seem as if it was everywhere and no one particular place at all. And they were waiting for a particular being to step forth from out of a literal gateway on the edge of a mesa, on the edge of a cliff, on the edge of a precipice and plateau, overlooking a grand and vast sea of ocean and the horizon beyond. There was light, and it was dark at the same time. There was dawn and sunset and midnight and the moon at the same time. And the gate was called in the dream the gate of the moon, and it was recognized also to be the gate of the sun. It was all gates in your terminology, coming and going. It was the going in, the coming out. It was the blending of many different avenues and motive forces upon your planet. The being, when the being stepped out from the gate to greet all the individuals that were awaiting this being, was both literally, physiologically, masculine and feminine, wearing what you would call a simple white sarong from the waist down. Recognized in this way, it was to some degree a Pleiadian representation, and this was to some degree marked by some of the interaction taking place upon your Fuji and Shasta areas and in your Hawaiian area, this last date convergence of your time, your May 30th. For from the Shasta area and the Fuji area and the Hawaiian area is the triangle that encompasses the entire energy of the Pacific Basin upon your planet and represents the strong reemergence of Lemurian energy. And this dream was also within Lemuria as well. The being in this way represented the blending of the feminine and masculine aspects within each and every one of you that is taking place at this time upon your planet, the equalization of all of this energy, all levels of your consciousness, and it was recognized within the dream that this represented the idealized energy of the convergence itself, represented within each and every one of you your willingness, as it has been, is now, and shall be in your future, to blend and pull together, to integrate all the different formerly segregated aspects of your consciousness into one unified whole, so that you can function as a representational whole being in that way, as a strong individual and as a full individual, give and assist to your world the necessary energy to allow your entire planet to become the single individual that it is required to be within the transformational age that will allow it to interact with other whole worlds. So represent within your minds and symbolize within your beings the understanding in any way, shape, or form that your imaginations and your dreams care to reflect it to you, that your awareness of your convergence within yourself is simply being reflected in the exterior format. Now, many individuals have seen this convergence as a negative idea, time to shake things up, perhaps even have what you may call geophysical changes. Some of these can occur, some electromagnetic shifts can occur, but recognize none of these ideas in a negative sense has to occur, as we have shared with you many times. The idea is to know that if you are willing to consciously awaken into that dream, into that symbology, and consciously allow yourselves to understand your own symbols and what they represent in terms of your own blending, your own awakening, and your own taking of responsibility for your lives and the creations therein, then you will be awake through the time of the convergence, and you will not need to create an unconscious manifestation of a geophysical change that shakes you awake. Wake up now, and you will allow the transformations upon your planet to be ones of blending, smooth harmony, so that it will be the gate of the dawn, the rising sun in that way, the gate of the moon, and all things that have formerly represented your unconscious beings, and these things will blend together into one smoothly flowing energy that will allow you to walk in a waking dream, for you to recognize that your physical reality is in fact simply a waking dream. And as you become aware of this, you will then begin once again to blend not only all the aspects of your physical reality into each and every individual that you are, but all aspects of your non-physical world into the physical realm as well, so that you can float in many ways through reality, knowing that you can create your reality to be what you consciously prefer it to be. You are now all waking up. This is what the convergence is for. It is in many ways the gathering together of all aspects, not only within each and every individual, but the drawing together as a magnet of all individuals upon your planet to recognize the synchronicity and the harmonization that is taking place and the commonality that many of you share in the diverse cultures of your world. You will not lose your individuality, you will not lose your diversity, but it is in a harmonic dance that you will all recognize as individuals, that you can move together as a symphony, and that you can all move in a similar direction, creating more acceleration in the direction of the harmonics you desire to experience upon your planet. You all understand? Yes. This is the basic symbology of the convergence. Use it in that way if you desire. If you wish to use the idea in a negative way, that's up to you. We cannot change your mind. But simply recognize you do not have to do it that way, and simply understand that any symbol, any energy, any recognition of change within your society always can be utilized by you as a positive application, and therefore only a positive effect in your life will be felt. You all understand? Therefore, at this timing, in return for your willingness to co-create this interaction with us and function as ambassadors of your world and allowing me to function as an ambassador of mine, I ask you once again, and with great joy, how? And to you. Oh, awful lot. All right. Full of awe. Surviving? Are you having a good time? All right.
I've been having a lot of exciting dreams also, and I'd like to explore a little bit of that with you.
All right. Will you do me a favor before we continue?
Yes.
Repeat after me. I am an exciting dream.
An exciting dream.
I do not have dreams.
I do not have dreams.
I am dreams. So what dreams are you? Do share the dreams that you are.
I had a real exciting dream at the beginning of last month, and I had the opportunity to share it with dreamers.
Nice.
Where I was a black dolphin in my dream.
Nice.
A couple days after that, I had an experience where I was falling asleep, and I sensed a very definite telepathic connection.
All right.
Somebody was...
Speak up.
Somebody was conveying to me encouragement and support.
All right. And so
I fell asleep and forgot the first part of the dream, but the second part of the dream I remembered. I was in front of a group of people.
Nice.
And
you mean like now?
Yeah, just like now.
All right.
Not quite as many, though.
Bunch up.
And I was channeling.
Yes, channeling, yes.
Okay. I would go in and out of trance.
In and out, all right.
And people were waiting for me to hurry up and go back into trance because they wanted to hear what I had to say
Ah.
in trance.
Ah.
I kept asking them, well, what's going on? I wanted somebody to tell me what was happening, but they wouldn't answer me. So I asked myself what was happening, and I saw a bunch of scribbles, and it meant to me, or it was told to me, that it was Dreamer, that I was channeling Dreamer.
All right.
And I'm kind of confused about it. And
Why?
Well, because normally you wake up from dreams like that, and you say, well, that can't be.
Oh, normally. Yes, but this is not about being normal anymore. This is about being natural.
Yeah, I'm glad for that. I'm tired of being normal.
All right. Time to be natural.
Right.
What are you confused about then?
Well,
Or is it simply that you cannot believe that what you know is true?
That's it.
Why not?
I'm still learning.
Is that an excuse?
I'm still waking up.
All right. Are you awake yet?
Yes, I'm awake.
When do you choose to be awake in the way that you prefer to be awake?
When do I choose?
Yes, when do you choose to become awake? When do you think, in your estimation, you may channel this if you wish, when do you think, in your estimation, you will be awake in the way you wish to be awake? A year from now? Certainly by then, or not
yes,
quite?
Certainly by then.
Ah, 6 of your months from now?
Yes.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
All right, a little bit of hesitation. How about 2 months?
Sounds great.
Sounds great, but do you believe it?
Yes, I do.
Why do you believe it?
Well, because more and more things are happening to me. I'm allowing things to happen.
Ah, so 1 month is enough, yes?
Yes?
All right. 1 month it is then.
Okay.
2 weeks?
How about right now?
Well, oh, that's up to you. How about right now? No time like the present. A very literal statement, by the way. How about right now?
Okay.
Now, what do you feel?
What do I feel right
Yes, what do you feel right now? All right, does not have to be right now, right now. It can be later right now. Let yourself feel whatever you wish to feel. What to you feels like the energy of the dreamer? How do you know it? How do you recognize it?
It's a very heightened sense. The best word I can use to describe it is joy.
Joy!
Because when I sense the feeling or the vibration,
Yes.
I tingle.
Are you tingling now?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, thank you.
Tingling.
Recognize that any time you recreate in your imagination the idea of what it was like to experience that tingling, you will be creating that experience in the present, and therefore you will tingle again. Anytime you wish, there is no great lengthy process you have to go through. You can allow yourself, simply by recalling the way it was, to recognize that any form of recall is actually creation in the present, and that you are doing it in the present once again. You follow me?
Yes.
How do you feel?
I feel good.
Yes. That is your natural state.
You sound like the dreamer, right?
Nice. That is a blending.
Yeah.
Neither fully one nor the other, in honor of the convergence. Allow yourself to recognize simply that your imagination always is the key. It is as simple as you imagine it to be. So be who you wish to be. And you will see your reality the way you know it is.
Yes, thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you. It is your reality. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you. I love you.
We love you. All of you. Happy dreaming.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi.
Being as I always forget to... I love you very much.
I love you as well. All of you.
I just want to... The last time I spoke with you and everyone here, I was just on my way back to Sedona, and I was really excited about going back. And
Speak up. Speak up.
I'd like to share the experience that I had when I went back.
All right.
It really had a profound effect on me. I got back and I was going back to see a girl that I'd kind of met before, and
Kinda met. You have such interesting experiences upon your planet. I can tell you with absolute certainty that on my world I have never kind of met anyone. See how unique your planet is.
really,
See what we learned. Yes?
well, she was real pleased to see me, and I was real pleased to see her.
All right.
And then, like, within a couple of days, we hadn't seen each other, and, like, everything totally changed.
Yes.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, kinda. All right.
Once again. And she, like, was exploring things for herself, so I let her do
Yes.
it. And
Oh, thank you.
almost... That was big of me. Well, anyway, it seemed like to replace that excitement and that experience, I like immediately recreated something else into my life that was like as intense as I could have imagined the other experiences maybe being.
All right.
So I met an individual there, and I'm sure a lot of people here have had similar experiences with things like this.
Kinda.
And my belief systems were I thought, were really strong regarding your communications, regarding all the metaphysics that I'd ever explored in the last few years.
They are.
I know that now. But I was willing, in meeting an individual who gradually revealed to me what he believed my apostolic connections were,
Yes.
his connections as Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago, and he really believed this to be true.
Understand, first of all, once again, every single one of you are a fragment of the Christ consciousness. So it is true to say you were all Jesus Christ.
Thank you. Well, anyway, he shared a lot of things with me, and he literally called me to go with him. And I believed in him so much.
You
What he
believed
said,
in him?
in what he was saying.
All
what
right.
He was relating to me, not so much.
All right.
There was doubt in him, but I believed what he was saying to me. It was like I'd really found what I
All
was
right.
searching for.
Recognize simply what you found is that within any being that truly reflects what you call the Christ consciousness, you will see a perfect mirror of the Christ consciousness within you. So you have to follow no one but yourself.
Yeah, I understand that now.
Yes.
But I thought then I was following him.
No.
Whatever. So for about 2 weeks, you know, I did the whole thing, and I got baptized and I got ordained into...
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was. It was
All
very
right.
exciting. You know?
All right.
You know, and you know, I really got into it. You know,
Yikes.
went it the whole way.
Yikes.
But the most interesting thing about it was that eventually, which was what made it most credible to me, was eventually he literally sent me out into the world after having taught me these things, to impress upon my heart down the road that his wish for me to literally release everything. Well, I didn't have too many possessions then anyway, but I had a backpack and some shoes and stuff. And I went down to Sedona, preached the gospel for a few days, and then I went down to Phoenix, and I knew that when I got to Phoenix, all I could think about was letting go of everything.
Yay.
So I got down there and I went to a mission, and I gave him everything except for my blanket, my Bible, and my you know, I was barefoot, the whole thing.
All right.
And then I walked along the sidewalk, and I
Nice.
burnt my feet.
Yes.
And I got to this little bit of grass, and I sat down, and I just said to myself, like, there's only one thing I know right now that I'm real clear on.
Yes.
And that is, if I can't preach the gospel out of love,
Yes.
I can't do it, because I was doing it out of fear.
Ah,
that I would
very
literally
good.
burn in hell.
Yes.
Crook, you know. And for like, so then I went back to the mission, and luckily, very coincidentally,
Yeah, thank
they
you.
still had my my return bus ticket to LA. They hadn't given it away yet. So I
Right.
hopped on a bus to LA, and because I really felt your presence at that time, I felt like you were coming to mind a lot. Although I was doubting my original beliefs in you, but
You do not have to believe in me.
I know that.
The only one you need to believe in is you.
Yeah.
And that is what the whole thing was all about.
Yeah. I learned that I had to really learn to believe in myself totally.
Thank you very much for believing in you. You are far more likely to burn on the sidewalk than in hell. Now, the other individual's understanding of their relation to creation, that is for them to understand, for them to go through, for them to process. But you were replaying some of the so-called apostolic connections that we have discussed with you as well, replaying them out in the present so you could recognize, again, the idea is not to be anyone's follower, but to be your own being, to be your own facet of the multidimensional crystal of infinite creation.
Yeah, I realized that it was like a bringing forward into this time period. The only, regarding this whole thing,
Yes.
Orion has been coming up a lot for me in the last week or so. Since
Yes.
I got back, I feel that this scenario
Oh,
has
very
strong
reflective.
connections
Yes,
to
yes,
do with
yes.
that.
For you will understand, to put this extremely simply, much of what you call the religious structure upon your world, not the core belief, the religious structure upon your world is an Orion invention.
And I'm sure you're aware.
You
that
knew
it-
that? You knew that? Ah. You see, in your terms, to speak pragmatically, once again, and very simply, what you call God does not contain the phrase, thou shalt not, in its vocabulary. Simply the ideas that were being communicated from what you call higher consciousness to your level of consciousness were understood but interpreted through the Orion framework. Because that is one of the things that your early society was all about. The fresh inclusion of the Orion energy so that it could be balanced in your society now and allow everyone to recognize the balance of energy within themselves so that everyone knows the power is within you, not within another individual outside you, which is what the whole Orion idea is all about. Domination, control, servitude, slavery. You follow me?
Yeah.
The old Orion idea.
I'm
Because at present there is also a balance within the Orion systems, and there is Orion light as well.
I'm sure you're aware also that it was exactly a year tonight that Naaman
As
brought through his message. Is there anything regarding those communications at this time?
not at this time. For you, all of you, now, are going through the blending and the balancing of those energies to allow there to be anything you might consider to be reincarnations of Naaman to exist in the present state within what you call Orion light, and the reincarnation of that being in the present state of the Orion systems is very well aware of exactly what you are all.
About 3 or 4 months ago, I asked you about my moving into an apartment in the same building, and I didn't know why, and you said in 6 to 8 weeks I would know. Well, 5 weeks ago, my apartment that I moved out of, there was a fire in it, and everything in it was destroyed. So I thought that was a pretty amazing reason why I moved, and I trusted in it, and then 3 days later I got the chicken pox, and then a day later my back went into a muscle spasm.
Having
And-
fun.
notice I create pretty visual symbols.
All right.
The first week of the chicken pox, I was hallucinating and I had a very high fever.
And what did you see?
I asked for dreams that would take me out of my body so I could sleep at night. And I had wonderful dreams with spacecraft, mostly with clouds. And every time I asked myself to have an out-of-body experience, I'd have it.
Nice.
Also, I spent about 4 to 5 hours a day in water in the bathtub and pictured dolphins.
Yes, the dolphins, yes.
And they helped me a lot.
Oh, yes. Do you not feel their love even as you are releasing right now?
Yes. The second week, I went into a state of total panic and fear.
All right, how exciting. Brought you right into the moment, didn't it?
It did. And...
Did you laugh at all during that time?
No, I didn't. I cried.
All right. Still centering. That is still centering.
I cried for 1 full week.
My.
Yes. And I felt very much out of my power.
All right.
I felt very vulnerable and very exposed and very ugly.
All right.
And by the end of the 3rd week, I started noticing that I started feeling that I was not the body, that I was very different than what the body looked like.
Very good.
And it was very beautiful, and I started listening to your tapes nonstop, and really started to learn to love myself, even though I'd go back and forth thinking I wanted to end my life.
Yes, yes. Many individuals, as we have observed upon your planet, will not allow themselves to begin to truly love themselves until they reach, as you say, the bottom of the barrel, when they have no other direction to go in but up.
Well, I figured I got a disease where no one wanted to be with me because I was contagious, so I had to spend time with myself.
Yes. Because you did not want to be with you.
Well, I definitely forced the issue.
Yes. Very clever of you.
Thank you. Well, I went back to work 2 weeks ago, and I was fired last Friday from my job after being there 3 years.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you. Actually, I didn't expect it, but I bought a bottle of champagne and I bought myself flowers, and I proceeded to become extremely happy.
That is why we say congratulations.
It seems that I would not allow myself to do what excited me the most, and so I co-created being fired.
Yes.
And for the first time in the last 5 weeks, I kind of see why all of these things happened, why I let them happen.
Thank you for recognizing your patterns. Now you can use them.
I feel really actually the happiest I've ever felt in my life.
Oh, thank you very much.
The only question I do have is my face seems to be healing the least quickly. Is there any suggestion you can give to co-creating a quicker healing?
Allow a lightening of the diet. Allow more of the fluids within you. Allow deep and even breathing and cool, purified water into your system to allow your bodily cellular structure to take advantage of all of its natural healing capacity. Let yourself know that you are in a meditative state at electromagnetic center, electromagnetic 0. Realign the entire blueprint idea of yourself within your imagination and see a new crystalline form appearing where the old body used to be.
In a sense, this is a rebirth, is it not?
Of course. In every sense of the word.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We thank you for your boldness and your decision to do all of that processing so rapidly. Shows how strong you really know you are.
Yes, I kept remembering that.
Yes, thank you very much. Sharing.
States for Nigeria on a grant to teach textile design and do research.
All right.
While I was there, I got involved with traditional healing and developed a project and became very involved with a healer.
All right.
I want to bring him to the United States. We're very much in love. We feel that we've been connected
Guys.
in many lives.
Guys.
And would like this relationship to grow
Guys.
and develop towards marriage, into marriage.
All right. Recognize, first of all, however, of course, it is a marriage right now, no matter how you choose
It's
to
a very
define the
strong
idea.
spiritual union.
That is the same thing.
Right.
The ritual in that sense does not make it any more of a marriage.
The difficulties.
Oh, here they come. All right. Yes?
Family.
Family! Yes? Which family? Whose family?
Both families make it difficult.
I see.
And,
what about this family here?
well, I understand what you're saying, but on the earth plane, it's very difficult.
Whoa, one moment, one moment, please. One moment. Just one very little moment, please. Thank you. Now, we do not mean to make light of your situation in a negative sense, but we do suggest that you lighten up a little bit about what you think is difficult or not difficult on the earth plane. Nothing is set in steel. Nothing. And any difficulty that you observe is only the habit of believing that things must be difficult where these types of ideas are concerned. There is nothing that has to be difficult about this. One suggestion we have for you is to recognize first and foremost that you already are together.
Right, and very much committed to the same thing.
Yes, and the entire planet is your home. The entire planet is your family. And you are learning that distance means nothing. That distance is an illusion, and it is in learning these things that will cancel the illusion of distance and allow you the physical proximity you desire. But as long as you choose to believe there are barriers, social, political, religious, what have you, between you, you will create and continue to create those barriers.
So therefore, in this current life, how best can we embark on our proposals together?
By doing your part where you are right now and recognizing that he is with you, that you are with him, and that you are doing what you need to be doing in the areas you need to be doing it, functioning as the active poles so that the distance between you can be lessened. You are bringing yourselves together by bringing the world together. You are shrinking the distance between you by shrinking the world. So there are no longer any barriers. By removing the barriers within yourself, you remove the barriers within your reality of the world. There is no simply one earth, and that's the way it is on that earth. Each and every individual, yes, we recognize, in a sense, there is a collective idea of earth. But even within that idea, each and every individual lives on a different earth. Literally. I am not speaking figuratively. I am not speaking philosophically. So what you determine your earth shall be the earth you experience, regardless of what you think the earth has in store for you.
But when you propose a blending, a cultural blending,
yes,
and higher ideas,
yes,
you also face the day-to-day difficulties.
Who says?
Who
says?
Government
Who says?
difficulties.
Who says?
It's what, is.
Stop. Listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. You are creating a dogma for yourself, and you are religiously following it. You are basing your present experience and your future experience on your past. You are saying, just because this is the way it has been, then this is the way it must be. Why? Why?
Because they can't cut through it.
Yes, you can. You have not been doing it. One moment. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If you find that there is a raging forest fire in front of you, and it blocks your path to where you wish to go, do you fight it by throwing sticks at it? Do you actually fight fire with fire and make a bigger fire? Or do you soothe it with water? Which do you use? then understand. When you say, well, these obstacles exist, and we have been trying to get rid of them, understand, you are not allowing yourself to transform them by using them for what they are. Allow yourself, first of all, to recognize you do not have to believe, that just because those barriers have existed in the past, that they must exist now. And I would, in your terms, perceive that many of the methods you have used to transform them have been only reflections of the barriers themselves and the methodologies they are used to using in remaining in existence. You are, in other words, simply using their own tactics, which only create stronger barriers. Allow yourself to let them dissolve by inviting them in and passing them through you. The idea is not to break a barrier. The idea is to dissolve a barrier. But the way you do that is by accepting to begin with that you are doing your part in the creation of that barrier. Accept your part in the creation of that barrier. Accept your part in the sustaining of that barrier through the beliefs you have been taught by your society, by buying into those beliefs. Yes, it must be a struggle. Yes, it must be difficult. By buying into those beliefs, you sustain the barrier and create it to be difficult and create it to be a struggle. Don't buy into them. But recognize within yourself that the barrier, if you have sustained it up to this point, can best be dissolved by acknowledging your part in creating it. Then you take it within yourself and say, why would I choose to believe there are barriers? How does it serve me to believe these barriers exist? When you redefine your belief system about why you believe these barriers have existed, why you find you have believed that they must exist, and why you believe that they must restrain you from this point forward, then you will have the definitions themselves that create the barriers to remain. When you have the definitions that create the barriers to remain, all you have to do is redefine them. Redefine the definitions as you prefer to believe. I prefer to recognize I have created the barrier because I believed this. Now I prefer to believe this. Once I believe this, no barrier will remain. You will be able to walk through those barriers as if they didn't exist, even if they exist for everyone else on your planet. Just because other individuals, just because the majority of your society says that's the way it is, you don't have to pay attention to that. You don't have to. And it is only your belief that the collective has more power than the individual that allows you to sustain those barriers in front of you. The collective does not have more power than you.
So it's by saying that I have cues that this will work, that we want to establish work together, have a family together, continue what we've been doing.
To some extent, yes, but recognize also within this many of the reasons as to why you want the things you want. Because some of the things you want may be able to be manifested in different ways than you expect they should be. Because many of your expectations may also be belief systems that have been put upon you by your society as to how you think it should come about in order to represent the idea. You may kind of continue.
A kind of hello to you, Bashar.
And to you, good day, good morning.
Well, nothing much special is going on.
All right, next.
Except that I'm ecstatic.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh boy, after Shasta and 20 million places of perfect peace later, I think I came to the realization that every place that you are is your place of perfect peace.
My.
Oh, isn't that nice? The question that I have for you,
Yes.
I need to have something clarified.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
We'll see how good you are at clarifying it.
I know you'll make me figure this out, too.
No, I will not make you.
Okay, okay,
I will allow you to.
okay. The Earth term, the 3D term, the
Right.
astral plane,
Yes.
where supposedly when we go through transition, or what we refer to as quote-unquote death.
Yes, the 3D term of a 4D place.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know now. Is the astral plane synonymous with 4D?
Non-physical 4D. Yes. There is a physical fourth density as well. That which you will be experiencing as the physical lives you live in the transformational age upon your planet. But bit by bit, towards what you may call, colloquially, in linear sense, the end of your fourth density existence, the non-physical fourth density and the physical fourth density will be almost completely indistinguishable, and that is when you will be 5D.
That answers both questions. Then, for
Thank you.
instance, when you are 5D, that would be what would resemble the idea of transition or death from 3D to the astral plane.
To some degree, yes. The idea, as we have stated, of going from level to level, transition to transition, plane to plane, is the recognition that you are the dimension of experience that you thought you previously existed within. So, you thought you used to exist in physical reality. Now you are understanding that you are physical reality. When you understand that you are non-physical reality as well, you will then move into the fifth dimensional plane. And you will become, or recognize that you already are, the actual dimension of non-physical awareness, what you call the astral plane, that perhaps for a while you thought you existed within. And on, and on, and on. Always recognizing that you actually are the dimension of experience that previously you thought you inhabited.
Right, right. Now, so therefore, the fourth density, being that it is a more accelerated frequency or vibrational level,
will be closer to a blending of physical and non-physical reality. And that's why your physical reality is becoming more flexible, more malleable, because you are becoming as thought forms in a world of thought form, and as you think, so shall you experience, just as you do in the astral plane. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Bashar. And I had oodles of fun up in Chef.
Thank you for your oodles.
Bye.
Sharing.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good morning. That many more ways that the infinite has of expressing itself in creation. So we thank you for this gift, and we would like to touch upon a quick idea regarding the infinite this day of your time. We would like to entitle this short idea, The Bones of God. Allow us to address the concept that in what you call nature, there are obviously certain principles that you observe and that can be rendered, shall we say, down in their most basic form to mathematical equations, mathematical proportions, ratios, and relationships of one or many things to another one or many things. All of these things you may call laws of creation, laws of nature, forces of nature, and so forth, are, when viewed on a very basic level, simply really nothing more than relationships of one thing to another, or one group of things to another group of things, or any combination you wish to label it as being in that same manner. This relationship, this mathematical, proportional relationship, is a description of the template, so to speak, that underlies all that you understand physiological reality to be. It's kind of web a kind of tapestry made out of conceptual thread that, when interacting with itself, forms a geometric pattern and a variety of geometric shapes, concepts, and experiences. This template can, in some senses, be called the bones of God, since it is the underlying structure, this geometric pattern, this concept, this idea relationship, is the underlying concept upon which all physical experiences hang, in which all physiological experiences occur. It is the setting, it is the stage, it is the very fabric out of which any experience in physical reality is made, is built upon. It is substance and form. It is shadow and light. It is everything you perceive the physical universe to be. When you get a handle, as you say, when you can focus down into that level, this template level, the skeletal level of physical existence, you can then utilize this perception of this template, this primary fundamental framework, as a key to unlock the idea of what physical reality is capable of being, of what you are capable of experiencing. This key has gone by many names in your society, in your history. It is called the Philosopher's Stone. It is called the Merkaba. It is called the Tree of Life. It is called the Kabbalah. It is called many things, but it is all the same idea. In many of what you call now upon your planet, the appearance of the crop circles, the appearance of different kinds of geometric formations in the fields of grain that grow upon your planet, you are seeing one example of shadows, of slices of this template, this underlying template, the bones of God, if you will, the bones of creation. And when you can learn to really vibrate in accordance to the frequency of this inner template, to match its vibrational frequency, then you can really utilize this energy, utilize this key, as we have said, to truly unlock reality in a new and profound way that allows space and time to become very, very, very nebulous, very malleable, very plastic, can be rearranged by what you might call intention and mental energy much more easily when you utilize this core key vibration. Getting in touch with this core key vibration, being able to perceive the skeletal framework of existence, the bones of God, simply involves deeper appreciation, deeper attention to these proportions, ratios, and relationships, mathematical constructs that exist throughout nature, that again have gone by many names. But in your own unique way, each of you as an individual can approach this idea and have your own unique relationship to this idea and interpret this idea in any way, shape, or form that suits you best. You can interpret it through vibration in song, through visual vibration artistically, through words, through actions, through construction, architecturally. Any number of ways can capture the resonance of this underlying template, and when it is so captured or represented or symbolized or manifested, it thus does vibrate in harmony with this core template by whatever form you choose to represent it, by whatever symbol you use. And in vibrating in harmonic resonance with this core template, with the skeleton of creation, all who then become exposed to that manifestational piece, no matter in what way they are exposed to it, no matter what senses are used to perceive it, they then can take upon themselves that core resonance and allow that core resonance to unfold within their imagination, within their mind's eye, within their intuition in such a manner as to allow them to find, through their own inspiration, what method of expression would best suit that individual in order to unfold their particular manifestation of this underlying structural template. of the bones of God. So, explore this concept wholeheartedly. There are any number of different ways to do so, as we have said. Whatever resonates within you the strongest, be it any form of art, any form of creative expression whatsoever, and sometimes even what you would call logical construct. Allow yourself to feel and appreciate the beauty of this beautiful relationship concept that exists throughout all of physiological reality, that underlies every experience, every object, every person, place, and thing, every dimension, every concept that you can possibly have within the idea of your universal reality is all tied to this one template, the bones, the skeleton of the infinite, in that sense. And in a very real way, thus, you can understand that this framework, this tree of life, this Kabbalah, this Merkaba, this form, this geometric pattern, is, therefore, the most basic manifested representation in physical reality of the infinite. It is the seed itself that blossoms into every other thing that exists in your universal reality. So trace it all back. See the commonality, see the connectedness in the templates and the patterns of all things, and you will see, like an X-ray with your senses, the skeletal framework of all that is. We thank you for allowing us to reflect this notion from this particular point of view this day of your time. In return for the gift now that you are allowing us to experience of you, through this link, through this sharing, I ask, in what way may I and those of my civilization be of service to you?
Once again, each and every time our civilization is afforded the opportunity to interact with your civilization in this manner, it opens up our understanding of all the different ways that the infinite can express itself through our perceiving each and every one of your unique points of view. So we thank you for this gift. We would like to begin this interaction and this transmission with the following idea. We would like to discuss the notion of vibrational residue, so to speak. The idea being that from time to time we have discussed and we have mentioned the principle called resonance identification, and we have discussed many times the idea that everything is vibration of energy, and that, of course, as many of you already know, whatever frequency, whatever vibrational rate you are operating on is what determines, of course, the reality experience that is reflected back to you through the experience of physical reality. But the idea expressed in the way that we would like to discuss this day of your time is a little bit more focused on the concept of resonance domains, frequency domains, strata of experiences that are each representative of a particular bandwidth or frequency or rate of vibration of energy, and how your actions, your choices of what frequencies and energies you give off actually create, in a sense, a reservoir or a buildup of vibrational residue in a particular frequency domain. For example, the idea that we have talked about from time to time that is phrased in what you would call your biblical literature as judge not, yes, in that way ye be judged, and as we have explained, meaning simply that you are not being judged by someone else, but in a sense are becoming the vibration of judgment and thus experiencing judgment reflected back to you. That is the meaning of that phrase. Let us take that a little bit more specifically to understand that in any given circumstance and situation, how you respond, how you react in that circumstance, in that situation, will create there to be a repository of energy of that particular frequency that becomes associated with that particular circumstance or situation. We know that you have certain kinds of situations on your planet. We will choose one to act as a fundamental example of what we are talking about. You have the circumstance on your planet called automobile traffic. You have expressed many times that in certain circumstances, many of you will become very angry, very frustrated, and will perhaps react in a very negative way. You will put out a particular frequency, vibration of confrontation and conflict. And the idea to understand is that when you do that, you allow there to be a strong association of that particular output to that particular circumstance or situation in general. So that if you yourself then in the future should find yourself in the very same circumstance or situation on the same frequency vibrational level again, whatever it is as a vibrational deposit that you left last time, you will then experience being reflected back to you the next time. In that sense, it is similar to the concept of self-imposed karma, self-created karma, in that if you create conflictive vibrations, frustration vibrations, anger vibrations in the first situation, then the next time you find yourself in a similar situation, it may not necessarily come back to you in exactly the same way, but come back to you it will. Because you have, in a sense, associated that circumstance with that frequency and will automatically find yourself at the receiving end of the frequency that you gave off. The idea is that you may not receive it in the same way. Individuals may not necessarily curse at you, as you say, as you may have done the first time to them. But you may experience it either that way, or you may experience all of a sudden an overwhelming sense, perhaps now that you are in their shoes, doing exactly the same thing that you cursed them out for before the first time. You may feel a sense of overwhelming shame. You may feel a sense of guilt. Not that you deserve to, not that you need to, but the idea is that this energy will come back to you in some way, for everything requires balance. And if you leave a deposit of that vibration connected to such a circumstance, then when you find yourself crossing that wavelength again, you will pick up the baggage that you left before. Because it is associated to you. It is keyed to you. It came from you. It belongs to you. It will come back to you. The idea is that, again, it may come back to you in a variety of ways. Either it will be literally reflected in exactly the same way that you gave it off, or you will feel it or experience it in your life in some manifestation that is indicative of the same vibrational level. Things suddenly may not work too well for you. Things may start to fall apart. You may feel certain emotions that are unpleasant for you. All because, to begin with, you allowed yourself to succumb to a particular vibration that may have really no benefit for you constructively, and in giving it off and associating it and attaching it to that circumstance, then it doesn't allow you to be free to experience that circumstance in the future in a clear and neutral way. Whenever you make such an association, you automatically limit the way in which you can experience that circumstance in the future until you clarify that energy as you have put it in to begin with. Always it is of great benefit and greater benefit to allow yourself the opportunity to experience any circumstance in a fundamentally neutral way, so that you can then decide to extract from the circumstance, no matter how it looks, a fundamentally positive or constructive outcome. But if you have already made the association of negative energy, so to speak, or more precisely, conflictive or discordant energy to that circumstance, then that's what you leave there for yourself to find the next time you cross that particular threshold. And in that sense, it'll be an opportunity for you to learn to render that circumstance into a neutral and fundamentally meaningless set of props that you can then be free to determine what kind of energy, what kind of outcome you would rather prefer to extract from the circumstance, no matter how it looks on the surface, and no matter how previously you may have been taught to think or label or judge or limit that circumstance. I remind you once again, Every circumstance is neutral, and every circumstance can serve double duty, positive or negative. The meaning you put into it, the energy vibration you attach to it, is utterly what determines the effect you will get out of it, no matter what anyone else's intentions are. Going into it, you are your own reality, and you have the final say on exactly what frequency you experience and how you translate that frequency in your reality. As body, as emotion, as spirit, it is up to you. So be aware of what energy you give off in any given situation, because you will pass that way again, and you will pick up that bag when you come back. Make sure it's baggage you want to carry. Otherwise, let it go so you can travel lightly. And in any given situation, then, respond quickly, so that you will not have to then, in a sense, take the time to transform the baggage that was left there by you before. Baggage claim, you may call this if you wish. Now then, we thank you for allowing us to reflect this nuance of vibrational mechanics to you. And in return for the gift that you are giving our civilization at this time in experiencing this co-created interaction, I ask in what way at this time may I and my world be of service to you.